And black hair and more eye makeup will make your eyes stand out more.
I've been an Elvis fan for a long time, so this film was definitely a hard watch. It dives deep into the unglamorous side of Elvis and Priscilla's relationship, and feels raw and unsettling. The director, Sofia Coppola, definitely isn't afraid to show a more real and grounded take on this infamous relationship, whereas the previous Elvis film, directed by Baz Luhrmann, paints a much safer and more spectacular image of Elvis, which fans responded very positively with. The Priscilla movie did receive some backlash from Elvis's daughter, Lisa Marie, as she felt that this movie portrayed him as a predator and manipulative man. She did, however, praise the 2022 Elvis movie, as she considered it as a true depiction of who he really was. Priscilla has been adapted from Priscilla Presley's memoir book, Elvis and Me, and she was also an executive producer. This film is certainly a very interesting and fascinating watch. We hardly see Elvis on stage, hear his music, or even see his manager, Colonel Tom Parker. The story instead focuses on the fragile relationship between the iconic couple and paints Elvis as controlling and complicated. When Priscilla starts to live in Graceland, she feels trapped and isn't allowed to have a personality. Even if she tried, she would get shut down.
There was a boutique that said I could work there part-time. I thought I could work there a few days a week after school.
We don't have to forget about that.
I thought it could be fun.
Well, it's either me or career, baby. When I call you, I need you to be there for me.
She had to make a very uncomfortable choice in this scene. Every part of her life is controlled, which emphasizes on her isolation and loneliness she feels towards Elvis. She is told how to look, dress, and act. She isn't even allowed to wear prints on her dresses, as Elvis didn't like them.
Prints take away from your looks.
Oh, it's like a forest.
I like this one.
Well, solid suits you better. And I hate brown. It reminds me of the army.
He is portrayed with having very old-fashioned values and wants Priscilla as a doting housewife who will be constantly at home waiting for him to return from shoots and tours. It reinforced the idea that Priscilla was trying to shape herself into an ideal woman just for Elvis. Everything she does is for Elvis. The film really emphasizes the fact that Priscilla was a child when they first met. The major height differences between the main leads were definitely a subtle way to reinforce this idea. Priscilla is constantly dressed up in very fitted adult clothing, despite being a young adult. She is even seen scribbling Elvis's name in her school notebook, which again highlights a childlike mentality. There were several moments from her facial expressions where she looked happy and then confused when she went along with Elvis's ideas, as she was just trying to please him. It reinforced the childlike personality, as she doesn't fully understand the weight of her situation. She fell in love with a superstar who provided her with a lavish lifestyle, but failed to be there for her emotionally. Priscilla wanted a normal relationship, but this wasn't possible due to Elvis's busy schedules and constant infidelities. She would even see magazines of Elvis with other women, which made her more insecure about her physical appearance. The main leads, Jacob Elordi and Kaylee Spaney, both performed really well when portraying a complicated relationship. Kaylee really captured the essence of Priscilla, and you couldn't help but feel heartbroken for her situation. It was nice to see more of a story about Priscilla, as she didn't really have a voice in the 2022 Elvis film. As a fan of Austin Butler's Elvis performance, I was a bit reluctant to see someone else play the iconic star, but Jacob's performance was definitely an interesting one. He does portray all of the negative traits of Elvis, so I think fans of the rock star will struggle to get past that. Nevertheless, I think he still managed to capture the complex and charming side of Elvis. I really liked the look of this movie. The soft tones and vintage style added a delicate touch to this intricate story. Certain scenes would use a more saturated colour palette to emphasize the excitement and love in the relationship. It would then be contrasted with more muted tones when the relationship began to fail. This was also balanced out with clever music choices to add another emotional layer to this complex film. When you compare the colour palette to Baz Luhrmann's take on Elvis, the colours are extremely saturated. It's like what you would imagine a fairy tale to look like. It's incredibly glamorous, enchanting, and dreamlike. It's very interesting to compare both films, as they each have different takes on the iconic couple. I found Priscilla to be an enchanting take of the ex-wife of Elvis. I knew it wasn't going to be like the 2022 Elvis film, but this was something I wanted to experience for myself. I think lots of fans will struggle with this version of the rock star, as it strips away Elvis's superstar persona, and instead shows you a more real and grounded take. It really depicts Priscilla as an accessory to Elvis, who wasn't allowed to have a personality, and had to learn to eventually find her own way in the world. It is a film I would recommend, but only if you're okay to see a not so likeable side to Elvis. Have you seen Priscilla yet? I would love to know all of your thoughts and opinions, so drop me a comment below. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.